Alright, so this is the 1 gallon Growler unboxing, how to put everything together. You're going to get a box like this. This is going to have your tap accessories in it. You're going to have the longer hose here, which goes for this size, and it does come with the shorter hose to use on the smaller one if you have that. And here is the actual CO2 inlet piece. As you can see here, that's where the CO2 goes in. So, main part of this is that the cap comes off here first. Okay, keep this in case you ever don't want to use the CO2 inlet and everything. You just want to use it as a standard Growler. We don't have backups of these, but I'm sure we could order them, but just keep a hold of it, put it somewhere safe. This piece here, obviously with the tube, you'll switch the tube to the longer one, but for now I'm just going to use this. Goes in just like a cap would. Okay. This piece here, the little charger, gold piece here, threads go on these ones here. And I would suggest using a little plumbing tape if you've got it, just tiny little pieces enough. And then you want to make sure this goes on good and tight. Any leaks when you puncture your first CO2 canister, it'll spread right out of that and you'll lose all your pressure pretty quick. So you want to make sure everything is nice and tight. Got the head here. So the head goes on right on this end piece here. And then this slides forward and fastens onto it. And again, you want to make sure that's nice and tight. Now when you actually twist a CO2 cartridge into here, this is going to activate it. So when the first time you puncture it, you want this all the way twisted out. You can see the little on, off. There it is. So you want it all the way set to off. And after you hear it pressurize the canister, you can start threading that to the on position very little by little until you tap it and the beer starts flowing. From there on, you can use the pressure however you want. For myself, my own preference, I always turn it off when I'm done pouring my beer, back on a little bit when I want another beer, just to make sure I'm not just pushing too much CO2 into the cartridge or into the canister. Normal cleaning applies when you're done. Rinse everything out. You can rinse water. As long as this valve is open, you can rinse water straight through here and it'll pop through the whole thing. This is what one of your CO2 cartridges will look like, either from us or from somewhere else. They look just like a BB gun cartridge, except for you can see the threads there at the top. A BB gun one will not have those. These are actually used for bike tire inflators for bicycles, so you can get them at any kind of bike supply shop, bicycle shop, or your best prices can be found online. Normally this one's been used, so you can see a hole there. Normally that hole would not be there. That hole gets punctured as you thread this in. And normally once it would puncture, you would hear that noise. And as I said before, the valve should be to off when you first puncture that, so that it stops the flow from going into here in case you have any leaks. Things here aren't tight enough. Once you've got this in tight here, slowly thread this to the on position, listen for any leaks, look for any leaks, and if there is none, then you've got pressure and you can start pouring beer once you hit your desired PSI, which will be shown right here. What you want to set your PSI at is your own decision. I go for around 10 PSI myself. Seems to be good for pouring a beer, and then like I said, I turn it to off after that so that I don't keep pressurizing the canister. And if you ever find that you've overpressurized your canister, it's pouring out too fast, first turn down your dial to your desired setting, and then come over here, and if it's still too pressurized, you pull this tab out and it will actually release the gas that's in here. You don't want to do that. You don't want to release the gas and then just let the beer sit for a few days. You always want to keep a little bit of charge in here if it's just going to sit. Keep the beer fresh. And lastly, again, about tightening everything, you want to make sure this junction here is tight, this junction here is tight. This little nut down here can be tightened. That will hinder you from turning this piece, adjusting it, and then this is your last one that needs to be tightened here. And that'll do it. If you have any other questions, feel free to email me, blueheronbrewmaster@gmail.com. I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have about this thing, or else you can just come down here and see me. Thanks.